What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 28 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Fay Enchantress Old World Classic campaign. So as we saw last time, another battle-filled heavy episode which included amongst other things the debut battle for Caravans and de Caravans and the horrifyingly effective flying units going over the walls of Fort Solace, which will now be our fort as it commands the entrance towards Marienburg here, and realistically, this would be a pretty valuable location to have. In the same way that Marienburg essentially commands the entrance to the River Reich here, and thusly, causes problems for the Imperial fleet. Same here. We can do essentially the same thing to them if we really were so inclined. Anyway, in terms of what we got to do this particular turn. Judging by the fact that Caravans can still move, I take it there's a fair few moves to make. Alrighty, well, we'll start with Caravans because I had him selected, and I'll have him besiege Stedham with, of course, Gustav the Savior to reinforce. Actually, we need to still get Caravans the Savior trade, don't we? Yeah, but this is a walled settlement, and there isn't too much value in, how do you attack this? Frankly, yeah, we could probably just auto-resolve this. This is probably not a good use of our time here. We will, however, move you in to reinforce. I'm gonna risk moving you like this. In fact, wait. Still not worth it. I keep wanting to stay in the stance, but it's just not worth it, it seems to me. Anyway, decisive victory and low casualties. Huh. Was it from the stance switch, or was it from the Friar and Gustav the Savior being added? I suppose it's not important, as we're not bothering to fight this. A little bit of damage on some of the eagles, but that's fine. Occupy. Like so, Shield of Talos and the Glorfiniel. Hello, what do you do? Flaming attacks in addition to sundered armor, eh? That's for Caravans. Well, that then decides that we should have a Banner of Eternal Flame in this army, because, if I can find it in here, I know we have a spare, yeah. If this gives you flaming attack, well, actually, wait, it gives you flaming attack, but it doesn't cause any weakness to fire, does it? It's cause armor sundering, and there's probably no way that we can get weakness to fire damage in this particular army, at least not from flying units if I recall correctly, so, yeah, maybe the Banner of Eternal Flame is not as needed here. But nonetheless, we'll hold on to it for now, and then I guess we'll see. Anyway, we still have Arnau and Seathil. It's Seathil that we really want here, because we want to trade it to Lorelorn for the military alliance, I hope. Frankly, I'd really love to grab the Pass of Stone from Visenland and Nullen for the Bleeding Stone, but I don't know if there's anything that we could trade to them. At the very least, we don't currently have any territory that is adjacent to theirs, though if we sent an errantry army to go after the Templehof vampire counts, and we may be able to offer a few things in trade, potentially, so gonna have to keep an eye on that. Anyway, Bertrand, no, Renee, yes. You are going to Vidovdan. Oh, you know what? We'll send the Gotrek and Felix caravan to travel through vampiric lands. Who knows? If they go all the way north to Kislev, they might even run into Ulrika. Let's see. I forgot who commanded this army. You, Renee. You go here. Did I move La Femme Nikita? Apparently I did. Now, who here wants to reinforce? I mean, Luan Diderot. Wait, okay, let's just give this a second. You will stay here. Stay out of that stance. What do we have here? The ogre units. Well, all of you, I think, will still reinforce this just for the additional XP and stuff, but the ogres and Luan will need to go southward in order to deal with Gorbat, as he's still kicking and he's got a fair few territories, and Teclis and Co are being rapidly overrun. Anyway, we'll auto-resolve this. Just want to double-check that nobody's gonna die. Still want to make that ogre-heavy army. Or several of them, depending on what we have time for. And a Savior for Angeline Beringer and Biting Blade for Luan. No, thank you. We'll hopefully turn that into something more useful. Another Feather Foe Torque. Ha! We found one last episode and I was happy about it. And I remain happy. Yeah, alright. Province, Kavargir Forest, Shore, Channeling Staff. We should probably try to turn that into another Delete this. Into another... Do we want to build this? We do, but probably next turn. Into another Book of Assure. Rest assured. So channeling staff, fuse. And there's that Book of Assure, and while we're down here... you saw that relic... No, we want to keep the relic sword. With the biting blade. Is there anything we can... use with you? No, the rest of this is fine. Sword of Battle is fine. Relic Sword gives us magical damage, especially for heroes that don't have it. This is useful. Luckstone I don't care for, but I don't think we have anything to fuse with it. I guess we could fuse the Talisman of Protection, which is actually decent, but nonetheless. Honestly, the Talisman of Protection is better than the Obsidian Amulet, but what can you do? Whatever. We can still use those. Anyway, you are now good, and we should have, what, 1 territory remaining to KARAK, and frankly, they didn't sally out last episode, so, yeah. Also, you're still kicking. I have to knock you out.
I have no time for this.
Will they fight? They will fight. Pyrrhic victory for us. We are really going to have to rely on the Grail Knights to win this one, because this is mostly an unbuffed army, but it is a battle that we are forced to fight, because, you know, KARAK is here. You know what I should have done? I should have moved the single heroes in to help out against this, but oh well. Hopefully we'll be fine. Alrighty, for the king indeed. Let's see if we can pull this off. It's tiny army versus tiny army, and the enemy has a lot of those ballista, which are going to be pretty darn useful against our cavalry. I've always been curious to see how many ballista bolts it takes to bring down a Grail Knight or two. And we're going to charge directly into the army and find out. Looks like we lose 2 of the units of Grail Knights on the approach. A third one falls, and the ballista bolts keep coming as the enemy ignores the other knights. But this is actually an error on their part, because they probably could have torn apart those units of Knights Errant. But instead they chose to apply all of their damage to the Grail Knights, which admittedly did lose 5 of their number, but now the Knights Errant close the distance in completely full HP, and our infantry line is almost here as well, completely undamaged so far. And thusly, I think that alone will carry the day for us with our knightly units in the enemy back lines. Neither the rangers nor the artillery nor the miners with blasting charges are going to be able to fire off a shot again. And our infantry line now closes the distance to deal with the enemy. And once again, the polearm units, not so much the spearmen at arms here. Huh. So the Bretonnian spearmen at arms use these bidents as their spears? This is a curious choice. Any history buffs want to comment on this? Why the bident? Well, I guess, okay, some of these guys have regular spears, but seems like an odd choice. I actually find it a bit of a weird choice that the peasant mobs are actually just using straight up regular, like, pitchforks and shovels. Like, I get that they're peasant levies and stuff, and they're not going to be too well equipped, but it feels like Bretonnia being well, you know, sort of medieval analog and all of that, that the peasant mobs would maybe be equipped with war scythes, right? They should have plenty of scythes to melt down and make into a poor man's glaive, essentially. Would be a lot more effective than a pitchfork, I'd wager. But what do I know? Poor man's glaive or slightly thinner Guandao, but yeah. I feel like Bretonnia should be using war scythes instead of pitchforks. They're cheap, they're accessible, and they're going to be effective. But I digress. The balanced power shifts 100% in our favor, but the battle was won on the charge, as is often the case with Bretonnian armies. Alrighty, there we go. By virtue of charging the Grail Knights first, they were the ones that got focused down hard by the bolt throwers and lost 5 of their number to their fire. But at the end of the day, it allowed the rest of the army to survive and make it towards the enemy ranks and thereby destroy them. So as usual, even if it wasn't just by pure damage, the Grail Knights carry the fight. And in fact, in terms of just pure damage, one of the Knights Errant certainly kept up and even got more kills. I'd wager that a lot of the extra damage and damage dealt as gold value also came from killing off the enemy rune lords, so good job to the Grail Knights for that. Anyway, thanks Maeve the Guardian. Let's grab the money. And KARAK is pretty much done for. Opal Amulet not for you. And what level are you? Rank 12. You already have this stuff? Okay, fair enough. Technically you're supposed to just be a lord that, you know, sits in a territory and gives us additional money, but for now you're making a delivery. And, oh, right, this has to go to Gotrek and Felix. I might actually separate you into 2 armies once we get down here. Because we probably want to send one off this way to meet up with Gotrek and Felix somewhere around here. Although I suppose if we pass through Hvargir Forest, we could meet up this way instead. Take a little bit longer to go that way, but it's not like we'd get here before, the Fay Enchantress cleared it out anyway, so, I think we're okay. Anyway, Maeve, you are going this way either way. Come on. There we go. And then Malene, you can besiege for now, but we will be doing that fight this turn, I think. So since they didn't sally out, we have no choice in the matter. How's everybody else looking here? Olivie of the Braid. We got Leonard, who is waiting. And, oh, actually.
Do you know who I am?
Okay, so we got more cannons coming along and trebuchets. Bretonnian ships use both cannons and trebuchets on them. Bretonnians do have pretty darn big ships after all. Arguably the, well, I was about to say, arguably the strongest human navy belongs to Bretonnia. At the very least, one of the top tier. It really depends on what CA is saying about the Cathian navy nowadays, and, well, how much more information we get about them. But certainly stronger than the Empire's navy, which, by virtue of the fact that the Empire has comparatively limited coastline, and as I said earlier, the whole situation with Marienburg, after Marienburg had seceded from the Empire, the whole entrance to the River Reich and the sort of river highways that the Empire is so reliant upon, making their first fleet a river-going fleet, incidentally. Yeah, thusly, not quite as important to have their huge navy. Of course, they do have the northern coastline to deal with the Norscan stuff, but obviously Bretonnia has a fair bit more coastline to be getting along with. Anyway, I digress. What was I getting at? Oh, I was getting at some of the seagoing armies that I wanted to make. Alright, well, they're still recruiting. Aleo Armistead, you are next, by the looks of it. Let's send you to Solsona. I'd once again like to auto-resolve it because the garrisons here are trash. I'm gonna hope... Wait, yeah, you can auto-resolve this. You can have this, I guess. I just want to see one thing before you do. I don't want to pop Apolline into this army. Do we have military presence here? We do. Ooh, okay, wait. Apolline, go past this. I don't want this army to get caught by an enemy army because it's damaged. And until it's leveled up, it's in danger. And, well, there is military presence, but it looks like it's in Aguila and not here. So we can, I guess, auto-resolve this, taking even more damage. And like I was saying, we can heal up more with the... you and the army, but right now we need the paladin just to help level up. And then we can send him elsewhere. Oh, you have the virtue of joust. Oh. I forgot about you. Huh. I was gonna send you to join the companions. Right, that's something of a problem. Alright, we'll give you one more turn, maybe a couple more turns just to level these guys a teensy bit more, and then we gotta send you out, buddy. Huh. I mean, potentially we could use a lost son instead. I'll think about it. We'll see how we do. Anyway, how's the... Okay, nobody here can level up as yet. Alright, so that was Mr. Leo Armistead. And now I have to find him in here, which is obviously going to be a problem. What do we have? There he is. Alright, Rapunzel. You, I believe, are going all the way down to Videnza because we cannot go to here, or at the very least, Folcar will go to there instead. Oh! You're gonna suffer attrition here anyway? Wait. Give me there's the mask. Okay. So we'll auto-resolve this. I'm gonna hope it doesn't rip our army to shreds. It's okay. More damage than I'd like, but it's not worth fighting. And then we don't need the royal stables here, and frankly, I'm not entirely sure that we want to level up anyway. I think that we actually might not suffer attrition by virtue of this going down so severely over the next turn. I think under 40 we shouldn't suffer attrition. I could be wrong, but I think we'll land you, and we'll risk it, and then you can land here as well, or at least I hope you can land here. So we're about to find out. Alright, so go here. And this will be even more anti-reduction, minus 34. Well, huh. Wait a moment. I never gave... I think the Sons of Bretonnia I never gave gestures to. Did I? No, I did not. Okay, that's not good. The other guys have gestures unless I'm mistaken. Rapunzel, you know what? I will give you one gesture. It should still be sufficient. I hope. Especially with the Astonishing Corruption dropping so significantly, the Seduce Unit's cost budget will go down, plus the gestures we already have, yeah. No seduction, please. Alright, Rapunzel, where are we here? You're good where you are. Theodoric, you are waiting for the rest of your troops. Probably just fill up the rest of his army with basic garbage. It's not like there's anything we could get that will keep up with him. The question is what? I could go something real quick moving, like a mounted yeoman, just to sort of fill out the ranks, as the main fighting will be out of the questing knights and all of that. Yeah, well, maybe we'll do that. Once you're done recruiting, we'll deal with that. Alright, at Bowmen, you don't need to move. Okay, this is the other Bowmen. That's we have Bowmen at home. You are the one that needs to move, potentially. I say potentially because there is still the Pirates of Sartosa to deal with. And frankly, we're most likely going to be able to move... I was about to say, we're going to want to move towards them, but there's also the orcs, and maybe we should send help to Teclis. Alright. It's a little bit of a ways to travel. And it might actually be faster to get one of these guys. Once we've dealt with the Slaneshi, just go past these territories and move around. Alright, fine. Go return this way. The thing is, you still need to get your Beastlayers of Baston, which do also have a long way to go. So, okay, I hate this location right. I like this. There we go. Hard to maneuver through the through this area, and then try to go to Campagrotta. Through Campagrotta. There we go. Alrighty, now that was Beaumont, who still remains. We got Marie Le Jongleur. Okay, I should have. Yeah, you're fine. And Eloise, you don't need to move. Leon Le Bel, you're fine. Vivienne Le Cornet, you're fine. And that's it. Okay. So now I have to remember where it was that we were besieging something, because we were besieging something. And it was KARAK Azor. I did remember where we were besieging something. Good, Ruinous, good. Alrighty, well then, if that is in fact the only besiegement, we will take out the last of the KARAK Azor dwarfs. Might be a little bit of effort on our part. Frankly, once again, these guys should have really sallied out. I think we have the advantage in the siege as opposed to a field battle, wouldn't we? We have 4 artillery pieces, and just to double check, you're both in march stance? Oh, wait. Well, because they didn't sally out, now you can both move in, huh? Okay, that's an even bigger problem for the dwarfs here. Because now we have an additional 2 casters. Away we go.
Fortune favors you. We'll get in there.
Alrighty, here we go. The last stand of KARAK as their eponymous KARAK is under siege. Perhaps the Dowie relied on the oath-breaking habits of the manlings in thinking that we would not hold to our alliances with the Wood Elves, but they were wrong here, and this will be the end of their clan and line. Anyway, we're going to start the battle of the big old bombardment of the enemy. We have 4 field trebuchets, and damn well are they decent at sieges. And I suppose matching the dwarfs in siege is going to be pretty good. We also have siege towers, so we will be able to put our archers up on top of the walls. The peasant union here and the other arrow units are going to serve to fire down on the enemy, but only once we've actually cleared the walls of enemies, as obviously the archers are not going to be fighting in melee, and this army has no melee to speak of other than the single unit of Knights of the Algorithm. And, well, obviously the cab, but they can't help on the walls. Anyway, I'm going to speed this up while we do the bombardment. We've seen it many a time, and there's nothing too interesting about this. What is perhaps a little bit interesting is that we make our way forward with the Knights of the Algorithm. There are those darn troll hammers. And we'll take a few to the face before we touch down, and we'll start trying to clear them out. Granted, we only have the 1 unit so far, though this army is supposed to eventually use 4 units of Pegasus Knights, or 3 units of Pegasus Knights and 1 unit of Royal Pegasus Knights, and ooh! As we attack the Troll Hammer torpedoes, something just as dangerous comes along, a unit of gyro bombers and a unit of gyrocopters with brimstone guns, all firing into the flanks of the Knights of the Algorithm here, who rapidly lose about 40% of their HP. Obviously, dwarfs are going to be pretty darn high damage dealing with a lot of their units, and we do have to be careful as we can otherwise lose a decent amount of our Grail Knights. Now, fortunately, we do manage to pop out Flesh to Stone to prevent us from losing any of their units, and then while they have Flesh to Stone, regrowth upgraded will allow them to heal right back up. It is time, however, to give chase to the gyrocopters who attempt to escape the Pegasus Knights, so with a little maneuver through the, I don't know, valley, I don't know what to call this, big old lava thing. Oh, I guess there's no lava down here. Whatever. Chasm in settlement. It doesn't really matter. Unfortunately, what does matter is that despite the fact that we're slightly faster than the gyrocopters, we can't actually seem to catch up to them. I think without actually slowing them down, it's thusly unlikely, so we're going to need to wait until we have a Curse of Anra here available to cast upon these guys from the reinforcing lords that are coming in. And with that slowdown, we should be able to take him out. Unfortunately, we once again have been led to a dangerous position as the enemy units of the Trollhammer torpedoes were firing upon us. And we landed to try to take him out, only for once again the gyro bombers and the brimstone guns to start taking out our units. Gonna back him off once again, Knights of the Algorithm down to half HP a second time, and having lost 2 of their models, but the Curse of Anra here is Anra here, and we will drop it upon the gyro everythings. And this will allow us to actually close the distance, catch them, and tear them out of the sky. They're very, very irritating unit, especially when used by the AI, because they just don't engage you when they're flying around. So, like, even if you reach them with our Pegasus Knights, they'll still keep flying away instead of actually being forced to fight in the way that the players' units would be. But what can you do? Anyway, we made a few breaches in the walls, and it's time for the Knights of the Realm to enter the, well, maybe not quite enter the fray, but at least charge through some of the units and start irritating the enemy. All the while, our peasantry start closing in with their bows. There are still a few of the enemy units milling around up on top of the walls, but the units that are not in the towers, which is the longbow units, and thus having a fair bit longer range, plus the artillery pieces should be able to clear it out and get ready for us to start firing into the enemy. The unit of gyrocopters and brimstone guns is at long last destroyed, and we'll give chase to the gyro bombers as well, but I think we'll do so with our Pegasus riding damsels, who should be, or prophetesses rather, damsels can't get Pegasus mounts, who should be, I think, sufficient to take out a gyro bomber because, well, they are terrible at melee for obvious reasons. Anyway, now that the knights are in here, we have critical targets to take out. Can't be allowing those troll hammer torps to do as much damage as they were able to do to our Pegasus knights. And between the lances of the Pegasus Knights and the Knights of the Realm, we should be able to take out those critical units much quicker. Other than the Pegasus Knights alone is what I'm getting at. Anyway, the arrow fire is doing pretty good, and the enemy, well, the enemy piles of units here are pretty much out of the picture. Artillery is still coming down upon them, and though they're milling around, there isn't really anything they can do about this because there is no melee for them to engage. They may be getting some flashbacks of fighting elven units because of the presence of all those archers in the, well, for example, wood elf hosts and high elf hosts as well. Alright, and the bounce power shifts to about an 85% in our favor now. I believe the gyro bomber has now been caught by our flyers. And let's see, we're at 156 movement speed versus 100, yeah, so these guys are a little bit faster, and at the very least fast enough to not allow this thing to escape. It will keep trying, but an extra 50 movement speed is way too much of a hurdle for it to overcome. And it looks like it's time for our towers to make their way up on top of the walls, and now we got poison arrows firing down upon them. Ooh, is that a ballista bolt? No, that was an engineer, wasn't it? I saw something fire at these guys. Yeah, this guy's taking a few shots. Got 11 peasant kills, but I'm not sure that's going to be enough, buddy. It's way too many arrows for you to deal with. Wow, there's one in his eye or in his forehead or something. But he's still staying there and firing into the peasants. One last shot. Maybe that was still 11 kills. I wonder if he no longer is able to fire upon the units. Now, the angle should still be there. Not that it's important, mind you, as he will rout regardless. Otherwise, the gyro bomber has shattered, and only a few units still remain to be destroyed in the enemy settlement. Enemy continues also backing away from the walls now because there is just way too much way to fire. Almost all non-armor piercing, mind you. Oh, but still plenty to work with. I think the fire arrows have 1 armor piercing damage. What's the pox arrows? They got a little bit more, 6. Obviously, not particularly threatening to dwarven units, but that's what the artillery are here for, and, well, the sheer weight of numbers. I mean, sheer weight of numbers is one of the many reasons that the Skaven are such an issue for the dwarfs. And we can certainly pull off similar things with copious amounts of peasants. Anyway, with that, I do believe the battle is just about ours. There's still a few dwarf warriors and longbeards kicking around, but all of their critical units are pretty much done for at this point, i.e. no more iron drakes remaining. So I don't know how they would be able to stop the Knights of the Algorithm here, though admittedly they have taken enough damage now to reach their healing cap. And we have had to back off our Knights of the Realm as they have taken a fair bit of damage to the enemy Great Axes. Wanted to attempt to capture the key building here, but that actually served to just draw all the remaining units towards this place, and there was too much of a blob for the launching lancers and the other units of Cav here, just because he can't really maneuver in here. Look at the range on those peasant bows, though. Up on the walls, the pox arrows have 315 range, thanks to the big bonus of being docked. It's a 70, which is pretty darn solid. But even without being docked, our longbows have a 273 range with their current buffs. I'm keeping in mind that this is a ranged army, and that's kind of what it's about. Anyway, looks like the dwarves have realized that they have a little hope here. 2 more units taken out by the Royal Pegasus Knights, and the last of the enemy units begin to shatter, and KARAK will fall. There we are. Took a little bit of effort, to be sure. Again, I was surprised that the enemy didn't sally out here. If they had sallied out, they could have rushed our battle lines, and those longbeards with their shields really could have weathered the storm of our archers at the very least. They would have taken a lot of damage to the artillery pieces, but nonetheless, I feel like this is one of those situations where the AI being a coward is actually very much detrimental to it, because our army is better for sieges against heavily armored targets than it is against heavily armored targets on the field. But I digress. A decisive victory nonetheless. Alrighty, there we go. So falls KARAK, a dark day as the Order Tide, well, fights itself essentially, but what can you do? We had to honor the alliances of old. Now, we got lots of work out of our Knights of the Algorithm here, unsurprisingly, as they are the ringer unit in this particular army. Still haven't quite managed to train up the various knights, the Star Chasers, Launching Lancers, and the other Knights of the Realm into Pegasus Knights, but I'm sure that this is a long way towards doing so. About even damage on most of our archers, not a crazy amount because we don't have armor piercing in this army, so yeah, occupy. And with that, KARAK should be destroyed. Yes. And hey, another Book of Assure, but does Leonie need one? Good question. Yeah, you're a generous spirit, why not? Wait, no, you're a life sorceress, therefore you don't get the Book of Assure, you get a Forbidden Rod. All the life sorceresses and damsels get those. Alright. Shatter Teeth secured, Potion of Speed, Sacrament of the Lady. We will also go for the Realm of Chivalry. We will not need this or this in this particular territory. We will not need the Sanctuary. We will want to upgrade the town immediately to get that gold mine up and running fast as we can. Though, funnily enough, gold doesn't actually generate all that much money compared to the farms that we can make. I mean, just see here, this farm is making 1,000 gold, so well, I guess a gold mine can make about as much as a single farm. It's a little bit silly, but it is what it is. Anyway, Malene, you are now good here, and yeah, these guys are not rank 7, but they'll make it there. If they can make it there, they'll make it anyway. We will then want to move, I guess, all of you guys this way. So let's channel while we do. Go here. Here, and you can actually leave the settlement and channel as well. You'll be traveling anyway, so even if you don't heal to full, you will, well, heal to full over the next couple of turns. And I believe that was it, right? I think we are not besieging anything else, therefore we are able to end the turn. We did the caravan last time, though I noticed that you, fella, are going to complete your journey next turn. Quite excited to see which of the Wood Elf units you get. Oh wow, look at those Knights of the Realm. They've certainly ranked up over the course of the campaign. And there is nothing here, right? Yeah, I don't think so. Alright, skip, and turn. Let's see what we got. Bertrand the Brigand, the Legend. As somebody mentioned in the comments in one of the earlier episodes, too bad that it doesn't keep writing the names out, or else it would be Bertrand the Brigand, the Savior, the Legend, or something along those lines. Military Alliance, Boris, we might do it at some point, but right now there's no need. I also fear that the more alliances we have with you, the more likely you're going to get destroyed, just like what happened to Gelt and Teclis. They seemed to be doing fine, and they allied with us, and the AI was like, oh, we're allied with the player now, we better allow the enemy to kill us all. So the military alliance may not be a good idea. On the other hand, the Reichlanders and the Wissenlanders are still going strong, and we've been militarily aligned with them for a while. The Wood Elves we've had the military alliance with, but the Wood Elves are A, pretty isolated, B, pretty isolationist, and C, are completely surrounded by our territory on 3 out of 4 sides, and the 4th side is a mountain that is now cleared of dwarfs, and then it's the Empire, so who is going to attack them, basically? No matter how poorly the AI plays there, it's, there's not much that it can do to destroy itself. Alrighty, and, oh, right, that reminds me, I wanted to trade some territories. Let's see here. Well, first of all, settlement besieged Dasson. Did we besiege something that I forgot about? Damn it. What is this? A lonely wagon train has been spotted by our scouts trundling through nearby land. It looks like they haven't noticed us. This could be a perfect opportunity to attack and acquire more cargo. So this is an Empire caravan rather than bandits, and this is one of the ones that I decided not to do for lore reasons. So it feels wrong to go into Imperial lands with a Bretonnian caravan and start attacking Imperial caravans. Summon besiege, Dasson. Oh, yes, that's Deathmaster Snitch. Nope, that's Rat Surge. Deathmaster Snitch is over here. Okay, fair enough. Surrender imminent. Screw you. Ambusher discovered, ready for duty. La Tech Thief has returned. And oh wow. She's far away from the front line, so yeah, that's certainly advanced. Ready for duty, Arnaud the Devoted, good for you. Technology research, Wood Elf Diplomacy, Caravan completed, and... Unicorn for Bianca Dufar, I don't know who you are. Blade Singers? Are you serious? We can... Wow. Okay, well, nobody's stopping this caravan now. I didn't even know you could get blades. That's insane. It probably should be 1 rather than 2, because that's absolutely insane. Yeah, caravan completed. Unique... No, they don't get a unique item. We already got the unique item from there. Next up. What do we want? We have been wanting to go through this and through Millennia of Service, which admittedly is nice, but maybe we should go through a few of these first. I've been meaning to go through Encourage Fanaticism and Temple Tithes. Grail Knight and Grail Guardian ward save, as well as Embedded Paladin Heroes, that I don't care as much for, but the recruit rank for Paladins and Sons of Bretonnia is actually quite nice, especially since there may be a few more armies where we want to get Paladins just to be able to train troops. And other booze cravings. I'll get you on field, buddy. We'll send some friars out with the... Oh, we got a... Wait. We got a paladin with the Virtue of Joust. A moment. Virtue of Joust. That is the same virtue as the guy that was in the south, right? Yeah, alright, I'm gonna get that paladin on field. That's one of the 2 virtues we're missing, but then we'd have 3 paladins and 1 lost son, and I wanted another lost son. You're wondering what the heck I'm talking about. It's the Companions army. Because we have the Virtue of Confidence for bolstered defense, we have the Virtue of the Ideal for bolstered armor, we need Virtue of Joust to debuff the enemy, and Virtue of the Impetuous Knight, I want to say. The one that gives you bolstered attack. Audacity, rather. Yeah. So those are the 2 we're missing. Especially since Audacity will combine nicely with the Coordinated Carnage. If push comes to shove, we'll take it away from this fella. But yeah, but this is a paladin up here. Ideally would have been a Virtue of Audacity or a Virtue of Joust Son of Bretonnia, but unfortunately we haven't gotten one of those. Well, either way, I think that doesn't change it. We'll grab the Virtue of Joust Paladin and we'll see. You are going this way. Can we grab Paladins here? No. Here? No. Here? Don't tell me there's nowhere nearby. Wait, no, we can grab Paladins here. Yeah, we'll grab the Virtue of Joust and we'll see. We can always pop them into another army as needed. You are Virtue of Discipline, in order to potentially join this army or maybe even get swapped out. Bertrand, while I have you, go to this location. And auto-resolve it, and you can have the Valorous Standard. You're pretty valorous, why not auto-resolve? Those poor little rats. Alrighty, and another errantry banner. Good, and then go and channel out here. Keep trying to rack up that XP. Wait. Not rank 5. I need 6. You will kill this little army. Auto-resolve. And, oh, I know who we give the war banners to. Okay, wait. Yeah, another Pigeon Plucker Pendant, Confident Attacker, good, and poor little Deathmaster Snitch, it's time to go. Auto-resolve. And yeah, look at how fantastic Agen de Gisoro looks with that unique hippogriff mount, the red and black barding, the antlers, the fact that it has the white feathers. Yeah, feathers. I was like, wait, fur? Feathers? Feather fur? feathers. Looks magnificent is what I'm getting at. This is of all the dukes, this is the one I wanted just because he has the looks. Anyway, we are gonna go with money.
They shall keep the wine.
Alrighty, like so, and with that, Clanation is destroyed. Don't care about the Gleaming Pennant. Stock for this big thing. And now the question is, where do we send you? Well, we're not needed here anymore. Northern Bretonnia is saved, minus the switcheroo that still has to be done with the territories. And in fact, maybe we do some of that now. You are going to... Well, you were waiting for your own Lost Sons. Yeah, you want to get a Lost Son as well as another Paladin, so maybe wait here for a turn or two. I don't really want to chase around with heroes, so there's a bunch of islands. You can pick up and get XP by being out at sea for a little bit, and then we'll send you out to Albion after this. And I think we could do the same thing with you, or I thought we could, but in fact I don't see any islands near you. Either way, Elise Salvant,
I shall seek great relics.
You're gonna join this army. Yes, it's been waiting for a caster. The other thing it's missing is a second faceless, but, well, one of these guys needs to be swapped out. Actually, the Paladin was originally not supposed to be there, but anyway. Yeah, you go this way, that's the faceless for you. And there was supposed to be an army that was going up there as well. That's Mariem d'Outremer. And I think, yeah, I was going to use this army to swap some units out and then have it be a reinforcing army to that other army, because it's a sort of light cav, range cav army. Then, I would like to see if you guys want to... Let's see, Port Saul. We want to take Port Saul and we want to maybe give KARAK... So, KARAK is one of the ones that's disliked by the Imperials, so I don't want to give them the Oak of Prophecy, because I don't want to give them a reason to go down there. So, Port Saul for Pina Wood. Let's put them there. This would be KARAK. And I want Port Saul, and you can have Pina Wood. Pina should be down here. Wood, there we go. A little bit of attitude over time. Click to confirm trade. Lovely. Now they get a wood elf location, a magical forest there. Then we have Port Saul, and we did that, but not for ourselves. We're going to give it to Sigmarsheim. Sigmarsheim, you have no other territories. We will want to give you, just straight up give you Port Saul.
Approach us, friend, and make your offer.
Yeah, there you go. Keep your money. And then, last but not least, your third territory, we will trade Barfla for Martel.
Greetings, neighbors. How fare the lands beyond the Grey Mountains?
There you go. All right, now old Mousillon, the Sigmarite warriors will hopefully keep the undead down for good. Now, this does mess with the contiguity of our empire, but whatever. It's not a big deal, I hope. Anyway, other than that, all of this stuff will need to be traded to Lewin. I think I'll do that between the episodes because it's just going to take like 10 minutes, and I don't want to, waste the time. Anyway, and Shirks, I believe we're going after you, buddy. Grenstad, we could once again, if we wanted to, use Eleanor of the Braid to besiege it, to save the time for the Fay Enchantress, but at the same time it's probably not super necessary. Let's go to Grenstad. And what do we have in terms of defenses? It's fine, but we've seen the Fay Enchantress defeat, 3 times as many enemies, and I don't think this is worthy of our attention, really. Especially considering this army has gotten by far the most playtime than anybody else. Alrighty. I'd rather leave room for the others at this time, unless we run into something really good to fight. Alright. Good. Trying to help the Empire out now. Next up, we will want... Okay, you know what? Let's go in order before... Where are you going? You are at war with the Iron Clawworks. Okay, A, fair enough, but B, maybe don't try to cross too many territories that... oh, wow, poor Teclis. Oh, no, wait, is Crooked Fang Fort where we have our... outpost? No, it's all the way... I somewhat smartly built it in KARAK so that if these guys survive, it's the furthest sort of point from the attackers. But yeah, I fear that we won't get to them in time unless the exiles of Nehek stop them. We'll see. Not the most likely, admittedly, but you never know. Anyway, René Denio, you are going this way. You're going to meet up with these armies, mainly Maeva, who has your troops for you, and Malene, who is going to go southward to help out against the... Ooh, you can go in to spread the word stance in order to channel a little bit, get a little bit of extra XP for these knights. You guys all stay together. Oh, trespassing, yeah, whatever. I believe these guys don't have an army to kill us. Is that another camp? Nah, it's just a raiding dude. I don't remember that these guys are actually at war with each other. 8 turns, yeah, okay. We're not, I don't really intend to declare war on them, but I just wanted to double check when they might declare war on us, and in the meantime, I'm gonna pick up a few more ogres from here. You guys will need to all go southward, at least until we're ready to get you an army. Well, let's have you travel together. And there's nobody else here except the Iron Clawworks, and they're the ones that we're going to want to go after. I should really be channeling with you. And frankly, I should have been channeling with you, but I forgot. And you. And you. Apparently. But too late. Well, I will try to remember to channel with them. Anyway, Franciscus the Savior. Okay, so you guys are now good, or at least more or less good. You will still take from Reyes. You will take Reyes, which will clear the Estalian Highlands. Yeah, there's no need to fight this. Wow. Resolve does not like that. Really? You don't like the Battle Pilgrims? This is like a half of a stack of those. Huh. I think the auto-resolve is ignoring the stats of those Battle Pilgrims, because they're pretty statted up right now. Go figure. On the bright side, with the Estalian Highlands ours, we don't need to worry about, well, worrying about this place. Let's actually start with the brothel or tap room this time around. And we won't need the stables here. Ciernos, I guess we can upgrade you. We do have the money for now. Then... Alright, so I have to figure out who needs to go into what army. So first of all, Franciscus is going to have to go down this way as he needs to meet up with Alberic to trade troops. Minus one thing, I think. You're rank 12. I would like you to give Chilfoy his last unit. Which completes his army. Possibly. I might replace some of the... I might get him some Erimo instead of the Pox arrows. For example, or maybe even get 3 Erimo instead of some of these guys. I'll think about it. And then we have the 3 questing knights, which are going to be foot knights, and then the companions of Quenelle, which will be non-foot knights. They will be on horse. Yeah. We should give them a banner of some kind. We have Court Jester. Oh, do we have magical attacks here? Yeah, not really. We're going to need another Lichbone pennant thing. I think, do we have a spare is the question. We do, just the one though. Alright. Companions of Quenelle. And again, maybe the Companions of Quenelle, I mean... By the end times, there were a bunch of Grail Knights among the Companions of Quenelle, but, here they don't have magical damage.
Unbreakable faith.
Not that it matters over much. Anyway, you're gonna go to Belmaz. Hey, didn't they, thought we saw a Vampire Coast Army. Oh, there it is. Alright, well. You're gonna head to Belmaz and Pyrrhic... Okay. Why do you have a Twilight banner? Okay, wait a moment. I don't think you need or want a Twilight banner. I don't believe anybody here needs to be hidden, therefore we will save this for another army. It's a nice banner. I just don't think you need it. Am I mistaken here? You're not stalking. We don't necessarily... Yeah, we don't need you to stalk. I don't think so. Anyway, you... Gustav and Elias. So first of all, you are confident in your crownless lord with missile strength, eh? I think I'm gonna use you to deliver the Beastslayers of Baston. We can't travel by sea because it's too dangerous, so I guess we'll have to go through the mountains. Yeah. Oh, but then we'd have to... Ugh. It's a long way to travel. It would be faster to not go through the mountains. I'll think about it. Either way, Franciscus, you are going this way. Travel about halfway through the distance, and then we'll have Gustav pick up the Beast Slayers of Bastogne and then deliver them where they need to go.
Lend me your swords.
It'll be a while of you traveling, buddy. I'm sorry, but there isn't an easy way to deliver you there. So let's see. Is it just as fast moving through the mountains? Yeah, roughly. Yeah, it's pretty much equal. Huh. By the time we get here, maybe we can go like this and then go out to sea and then deliver the... deliver it to Bowmen this way. It's probably the faster way to do it. We shall see. You're fleet-footed, right? Yeah, you are supposed to go into Franciscus's army. Like so. And then you are who? If I remember. Oh, you're supposed to go to Jolene's army, so you're gonna go this way. Not quite to Jolene's, but close enough. Ataharia's fine. A Tech Thief is moving down where she's supposed to go. Alberic, we're gonna have you not waste your movement points, so we'll have Camille hit Torque Horrendous. And we'll have Alberic reinforce. Judging by what the auto resolve has done in the recent few battles, it's probably going to severely damage us, but it is what it is. Let me just see what this says. Close victory, low casualties. Won't kill anybody, but I'm willing to bet some pretty severe damage, but that's life. They're too weak to be worth fighting. And hey, a brass cleaver. Nice find, though. And if you go into stance, nah, you're not able to reach Phidian. Which means, funnily enough, we have to stay here, don't we? Alright, fine. Go into encamp. You really need a mage, buddy.
Humility and honor.
You wanna build this? Go for it. I feel like the Oceanids... it feels like a Lore of Life thing to me. Where's the closest place we can build the mage? Should be here in Borga. Damsel, Lore of Life, we have Commanding and Empathic. I guess we just go for Empathic. On the other hand, the Lord of the Heavens seems like it makes more sense for... I guess we could do 2. I'll think about it. I'm gonna go with Empathic, I guess. I just don't want to wait for more. Alrighty, and then you can have a unicorn. Anyway, as I was starting to say, Lord of the Heavens feels like it might make more sense for a ship-based army. You know, what with, you know, navigation and stars and all that, but not the biggest of deals. You will go this way, and you have to catch up to Alberic, and all of you will trade. You will go this way as we take Belmaz with Chilfroy, and okay, once again, I keep forgetting not to keep you in that stance. You go here, and Pyrrhic Victory. Right. Alrighty, so that means we're probably gonna have to fight this. And thusly, fight it we shall. Let's level you up. You are gonna max out Replenish Troops, Awakening, Life Bloom, Earth Blood, definitely max out Shield of Thorns. Grab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we have 2 points remaining. I'm going to say Emergency Flesh to Stone into the Dwellers below. And maybe Regrowth. Dwellers Below is obviously amazing, but I don't like to overuse it. Curse of the Midnight Winds, Whirling Skies, Evasion, Comet of Cassandora, Chain Lightning, Earthing, Magical Reserves, Arcane Conduit is what we wanted. Get the second point in Chain Lightning, and Comet is okay, but it's, the Aura of the Lady and our army ability with a massive spell resistance, we might be able to drop it without, killing all of our own troops. Oh, you only get 2 points into Replenish Troops? Oops. Replenish, oops. Anyway, healer for you. Light of the Lady. We have Soulfire already. I guess we'll go for Retinue Valet, though with a plus 100% magic item drop chance, we're in a pretty good place already. And lastly, Chilfoy himself. You should get the Blessing of the Lady. And we don't need Lionhearted as yet. Oh, you know what? Actually, I lied. Get Dukedom's Bond for the additional errantry against rather the Greenskins. Pretty much the only option. Seed of Rebirth this time. Nice. Alright, let's fight this real quick. I think we should be fighting. This isn't a minor settlement. No, it's a field battle. Works for me. Go.
Soon we will feast as scribes begin the tale of our glorious victory.
Alrighty, here we go. Alright, Chilfroy's model for some reason looks really weird. There's something wrong with his skeleton. He looks like a puppet propped up on his horse, so maybe horse isn't in fact the way to go. I will maybe try putting him on foot and see what it looks like. I do like the green and red barding quite a bit though, but it just... He definitely looks like somebody like he died and then they just sort of tied him to his horse and all that. But anyway, not important. I do like his army and its current, well, this is the debut of his army. We got the 3 units of questing knights on foot, buffed up to, well, buffed up a lot. 75, 70 melee attack and defense, 100 armor, and they're going to be pretty nasty in a melee. With all of the range units buffed up by Chilfroy to have significantly more range, thanks to him buffing Bowmen, and the Brigand Kriegs and the other unit of axes waiting in the forest in case the enemy is able to close the distance. The 1 unit of horse knights here is the Companions of Quenelle, who, since we buff questing knights in this particular army, we've decided to keep in this army rather than the actual Quenelle army. But like I've said before, the Companions have been everywhere, so... let's say they get around. It doesn't really matter which dukedom's army they are part of, because it's another day, and, well, another day probably means another banner to fight under while they're doing their whole questing night thing. Also, I really like their color scheme. I don't even know what to call this color, or these 2 colors. It's sort of pale green. Oh, the white and black and the white and gold, the white and black on the horses together with the pale green, and then the white and gold of their armor. They look quite nice. Yeah, the regiments of renown really, are really good for Bretonnia. Anyway, in the meantime, the questing knights have closed the distance. They are, of course, taking damage to all the enemy armor-piercing range fire, as, well, Dark Elves have easy access to a lot of armor-piercing damage. But these guys are decently tanky. They have a fair bit of HP. And certainly a ton of damage. I like the fact that they, so obviously knightly units don't have nearly as many models as infantry units. They look a lot bigger because they have their horses, but once they're on foot, they're sort of much smaller elite units. And it looks really good for them getting surrounded and attacked from every side. Always makes for a epic little standoff between units like this. And quite successfully, regardless of the fact that the enemy has popped off murderous mastery, our questing knights have cut them down with no trouble, while the enemy dark shards, regardless of their shielding, have been annihilated by sheer numbers of arrows coming down. Plus, we also had the elevated position and, well, just plain had a better position for ourselves. Lovely. There is still a unit of Blackguard of Nagaron, and, well, we got a little bit of armor piercing for them in the form of the Brigands with great axes. It's time for them to close the distance. Chilfroy's actually looking like a normal dude, more or less attacking now. That's still a little bit weird. I don't know what's up with his skeleton. I'm actually now very curious to see what he'll look like on foot. But for now, it is Le Pied Nicolet and the other units of Brigand Axemen with their high armor piercing damage. And for some reason the damsel comes in to help out. But yeah, while we lack armor piercing in range in this army, because our range units are non-armor piercing, we have lots and lots of it between the questing knights' great axes, or great weapons, or great swords, and the great axes of the brigands there. Granted, the outlaw thing is debuffing everybody and making them lose immunity to psychology, but I guess it wasn't needed against the Dark Elves here, as with that, they shatter, and the battle is ours. Still laughing at the the way that Chilfroy looks like he's a puppet, but anyway. Alrighty, there we go. And, this time the questing knights did have their stats recorded. That's surprising. Last time I used the dismount ability, they didn't. Well, I'm happy they did this time. 16k damage and 123 kills on the best performing one, but admittedly they all did well. Not as good as the Companions of Cornell, which were on horseback, but that should hardly be surprising, and I don't want to rely on obnoxious cavalry charges throughout the course of the entire campaign. There was for the men-at-arms with longbows at 13k. Looks like one of these guys did pretty darn well. Alright, we'll take the place. And the Dark A, Dragon's Claw, you are out. And Royal Pegasus and Accursed Armor, eh? Is there anybody that we could put this on that would... speed reduction is pretty severe. I guess we could put it on one of the Footlords, because they're going to be really slow anyway. It's not going to change much. If we really wanted to, but frankly, the Footlords are probably already going to be strong enough for it not to matter. Also, did I get Savior for Chauffeur? Yes, I did. Alright, so it doesn't matter. Did you get rank 10? You did a while ago, therefore nothing we do there matters either.
Vampire of the Waves.
Vampire of the Waves, indeed. 400 income generated, attrition when under siege in region, who cares? Alrighty, well the money is something. Not anything crazy, but it's something. I wonder why they made it so that Horde factions get broken upon Confederation. Feels like an odd choice to me. Anyway, we do still have others to move, do we not? We might. Gustav the Savior, you are following Cassien de Caravans, who is just in range of our now, by the looks of it. Away we go. It actually, you can't reach our now anyway. I was hoping you would reinforce, but all good. And hello, what do we have here? You go to R now, either way. And close victory, eh? They are still damaged. Oh, poor eagles. These guys might actually attack us if we take the damage after this. We might want to fight this in the field. I guess we probably will. Alright, well, either way. You can get this then. Actually, no, I lied. This should go on somebody who's in the blob of flyers. Let us put this on, I don't know, one of the Royal Pegasus Knights for now. Under the assumption that we keep the Royal Pegasus Knights in this army. Anyway, Cassien, remain in the siege. We shall see about if there's anything else, because once again, I like to separate the battles and the sieges. Rayola, so you have your damsel. And I guess we want to send you out to sea. You want to channel for a bit? You are waiting for your cunning hero, so you and... yeah, everybody's waiting a little bit. At least out here. Let's keep waiting. And Bertrand, we moved you this turn. Alright, good. Leonard, you're fine. Ale Armistead, you are healing. We could send you here to Zaragoza. I assume that there is nobody here, right? I don't see military presence. We saw the mask last time. Can we maybe leave one of these guys out? No, I don't really... just go to Zaragoza, I guess. You won't be able to take Gualcazar without healing, though. I guess you could proceed all the way up to Milena. We're just trying to get XP on this army. It doesn't really need to fight until it gets it. Auto-resolve. And occupy. Like so. Free Court Jester. Oh, you didn't have a Court Jester? I guess only some of those in that army. A Warrior Bane. Now that's a nice pickup. Combine that on somebody who has the Virtue of Joust. Or even more of that. This is good. I'm almost tempted to... wait, can the Friar leave this army? You won't be able to reach Milena in one go. Actually, you probably will. But you won't heal that much, which is the problem. Should the Paladin leave? But he's providing them bonus per turn. Is this armies in region? It is armies in region, so at the cost of training, maybe. Alright, Paladin, leave this army for a second. We'll put you in here just to allow the troops to replenish much better. And we'll put the Paladin back. We should still gain the bonus from the region, but we won't gain from the fighting, so we should put you back in before we fight, if that made any sense. Whoa, 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 you have a high chance to get killed doing that. Don't do that. That was Leo Armistead. Who was next? I guess it's Raponce. Alright, Raponce, you are still waiting for stuff. Go figure. Mask seems to want to defend Aguila. Let's go get you a mage. See if she leaves. No, she'll stay and fight. All right, that's a potentially nice fight for Rapunzel. So let's put you in here. We'll also take this place with Mr. Folcar. In fact, if it's poorly defended, perhaps we use Folcar to reinforce Margot, because I think this little divine wither slash is going to try to leave.
For the king.
They did not try to leave. Okay then. Then I guess we should attack with the main army. I mean, I guess this would allow this guy to keep moving, which is not a bad thing. Although he is damaged, admittedly. Does it matter? Probably not. I'll resolve. At the very least, I don't care enough. Another holy icon. We can turn that into something. Occupy. Not for you, though, Margot, but what is for you is the peasant's purpose and arcane wisdom. And we will go for the greenskins again. And I'm actually interested in Syrian's Locket. I've been giving these to friars, so. Lots of students. Basco Coast. You're... Oh, yeah, the Slaneshi selection is gone, which explains why we didn't get any further seduction here. I go for Windmill, I guess, and let's upgrade you while I have you. I want to see what we're at here. 1345, almost at 1400, which is the max. So we should be able to get any of these in one turn soon. Which will soon make tech thieves obsolete, sad though it may be. Anyway, you can still move. And, oh, you also don't have a caster, so you're not healing. Well, actually, no, you'd still be healing because you have these guys. Replenish troops. And, again, we'll level them all before we have a proper fight, if you're wondering why they're not leveled. I generally don't like to do that unless a fight is there. I'm gonna say we'll send you down to Spineport in preparation for attacking these guys, though I do wonder how much will you heal at sea, out of curiosity. Is it the same or is it less? It's less, and it's considerably less. Alright, fine then. Don't go at sea. At least yet. I was gonna say pick up a couple of islands on the way, but I guess we can move to Videnza, all the while healing. And get ready to go after the islands before we attack the vampire coasties here. There's 4 islands around, after all. Now, Rapunzel, it's fighting time. Let's level everybody up, so replenish troops, systems of wild form, wild heart, flock of doom, point and pans, evasion, and then max out the curse of honor here because it's an amazing spell. I don't think we actually need pans nearly as much here. On the other hand, the damage resistance is nice. Do we need the Amber Spear for anything? Do we have any single entity big monsters? We do have a Breton, which we could chuck the spear at, in theory. But overall, probably not the most necessary, but we'll just get it just in case. I may very well not use it. Anyway, you, Soul Fire, and then keep saving points for healer, and then you do the exact same thing. Soul Fire. On a 2 more levels, we might be able to, by defeating the mask here, get what we want. Be real nice. Buffs for Knights at 16, but it's the Hippogriff we want for the Siege Attacker. Banish the Scourge. This is for fighting the vampires, which we will probably do soon with Rapunzel, or at the very least the Vampire Coast. Actually, rebuild the ruins is pretty decent. But we should probably get either Worshippers of the Grail, or the Peasant's Purpose, or some knightly buffs. Frankly, you're gonna be... Didn't mean to do that. Malateki, you're going to be fighting the mask, so that might be useful. This might be useful anywhere you go, just to get stuff up and running immediately, but it won't help with the fight. Let's say 2 points into Worshippers of the Grail, and then we'll start moving through Lowborn Militia. Which I called the Peasant's Purpose, but it is not what that is. Anyway, Lowborn Militia. Let's buff those guys up, because they need it more than the Knights, let's face it. Also, no need for this. Alright, Aguilas, let's go.
In Bretonnia's name! Attack!
Alrighty, here we go. The mask at rank or level 27 will certainly be a nice enemy lord for our pawns to defeat if we can manage to pull it off. And we never started being particularly careful with Rapunzel's army going against the Slaaneshi, and I think we're not going to start now. So we'll put our units in dangerous positions, and we'll see how we fare. Now, Rapunzel is going to head towards the enemy herself real quick. I'm just going to move everybody into position. Now, the idea here is to start the battle off by taking out the enemy Hellstriders with our 2 units of Knights of the Realm, thanks to their anti-large. The Paragons will want to go after the enemy devoted Marauders of Slaanesh, but it looks like the AI has other ideas and will in fact use its Hellstriders to countercharge the questing knights. Sure, they don't have anti-large bonuses, but they don't really need them to take out the enemy cav, and their great weapons will tear them to shreds just as well as the enemy lances, with a little bit of help from the Halo of Maidenly Wrath from the pawns. Better against infantry, mind you, but it'll probably be some time until there is enough infantry to blob up around here. And so it's better to get it on cooldown and use it again. It is an infinite use ability, but it does have a long cooldown, so may as well. Ooh, looks like the Breton has come out to play, and Rapunzel will be dueling this big beastie. Or medium-sized beastie, I guess. I mean, it's still big compared to like a human and a horse, but, you know, not big compared to some of the other beasties we got. Either way, that'll be a Rapunzel's duel here, and it's a pretty good matchup. The enemy Breton is in standard 1, and this is a massive 50 anti-large bonus. Very little melee attack, but every one of its blows, or at least nearly so, will land upon Rapunzel, who loses about 45% of her HP so far. The rest of our knights close the distance, and we'll be fighting in a blob, at least for a while. Eventually we'll back off once they've taken so much damage, but this is how we made our debut battle with this army. And the only issue is we can't really interfere with the duels, so Rapunzel wants to fight the Breton, we gotta get away from it, and Henri le Massif is currently fighting the Mask of Slaanesh in here somewhere. There he is. They're all hard to spot in the blob. What's a little bit easier to spot is the sort of other 1/3 of the enemy troops. We have left the 2 units of Knights Errant to protect the peasants, while the Knights of the Realm and the Questing Knights sought glory in moving in together with the Rapunzel against the other 2/3 of the enemy army. Fortunately, though, the units we left behind were more numerous than the enemies and were quickly able to overwhelm their numbers and tear them to shreds, with the exception of the spawn, which are going to get mobbed and destroyed rather quick. The enemy Breton has been defeated by Rapunzel at this point and is attempting to escape, while Henri le Massif has brought the Mask of Slaanesh down to 50% of her HP. Our questing knights have at this point suffered about 50% of their HP and damage and have backed off a little bit, but we're keeping the questing knights still fighting. And by distracting the enemy with the questing knights, it's allowing the Knights Errant to join the fray. Or is it Knights of the Realm? Not Knights Errant, to join the fray and help out by smashing once again into the enemy's flanks. It looks like the enemy lord has been, or enemy hero rather, the Cultist of Slaanesh has been defeated by our questing knights, and it's only a matter of time as these are the only units that remain on field. And is that Breton coming back? I thought I saw it coming back. Oh, there it is, but it won't be here for long as it gets charged by the questing knights and torn to shreds. Would have been faster to do this from the start, but Rapunzel wanted a nice duel. Anyway, with that, the mortal units flee and the demonic units begin to melt them away. The Mask of Slaanesh drops like 20% or so of her HP, kind of hard to spot her in the midst of all this. But I think with that, she falls and only the Chaos Spawn will remain. As usual, but also as usual not for very long. Certainly not as hard a fight as we fought against the Slaaneshi with the debut battle, but obviously our army is only going to get stronger and stronger with every fight, thanks to all the experience and additional points. The very first fight Rapunzel fought, she was at level 4. Still, 13 is rather low in levels, but considerably better than where we were where we started. And let's see if this gives us enough levels to get us that Hippogriff. A lovely little fight. Oh, okay, 1 chaos spawn remained, but again, not for long. Alrighty, there we go. A very nice fight. Rapon's taking on that Breton in the middle of the fight and dishing out 13,000 damage. In large part, I'm sure, to the Halo of Maiden the Wrath, while Henri the Massif defeated the Mask herself. Our knights did pretty well with the Knights of the Realm, especially in the sort of middle of the fight, surrounded by everybody. Them being shock cavalry, it's not really what you want them to be doing, but they bravely stood against the onslaught of the Slaneshi coming from all directions. Slaneshi giggle. We've got the Knights Errant as well, who actually did more damage, but... well, about even, actually. I was about to say more damage dealt as gold value, or less damage dealt as gold value, but they were all about even. So good job to all the Knights, is what I'm getting at. And the distraction provided, allowing us to divide and conquer the enemy army to about 2/3. Anyway, leaving the 4 or 5 units that the peasants had to deal with in little enough for the peasants to have been able to deal with them, is what I'm getting at. Occupy. Lovely, another challenge stat. The rhythm stilled, more damage for Rapunz, and I don't think the Mask is recovering from this one. They got 4 settlements remaining, and that was most likely the last of the enemy stacks that she was getting on field. Unfortunately, we won't be seeing her destruction this particular episode because I do believe we're out of time, and I'm going to call it here. I really wanted to grab Alençon, but there is still a little bit of stuff to do, and thus this turn, and thus we can't do it right now. So I'm going to call it here. Between the episodes, I'm going to trade some territories to Kuhan. Just want to make sure that they get Langui and Artois and whatever else they're missing. Parts of Kuhan itself, frankly, and disappointingly. Oh, Lewin. But most likely we'll keep Lyonesse and Lyonesse Hills for ourselves because, well, because I feel like it, basically. I gotta take something from Northern Bretonnia, right? Although, admittedly, we already have here, but anyway, he'll have enough territory is what I'm getting at. More stuff. Oh, right, we also have to do this. You know what, I'll do this between the episodes, but this actually might be worthy of a little bit of a fight. It's not like Cassillon has had a lot of chances, so we'll start next episode with that. Plus whatever else I don't do between the episodes. So stay tuned for that. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, as they will determine how long this campaign continues to run for. All glory to the algorithm. Do we have land ships available yet? Vissenland and Nullen. No land ships? What about Reichland? No land ships. Alright, you just gotta keep an eye on that. Wait, do we have the Dwarfen stuff available yet? KARAK, we do. I wanted some grudge throwers to go with our catapults and Adelhard's army, and I think we'll still want to do that, though it will mean removing maybe one of the Blessed Field Trebs, as I was saying earlier. You know what, Armand, grab one of the Blessed Field Trebs. 7 should be sufficient. Like so.
Lord and hero.
And then we can grab 3... Okay, wait, go into camp stance. Grab 3 grudge throwers, putting you at 19 out of 20, and then 1...
Lord of Bretonnia.
KARAK, there we go. 3 grudge throwers. Oh, it's gonna take it. Okay, whatever. It's gonna take an extra turn. Maybe I'll move you so that you can recruit and move at the same time. And then the only thing that you're going to need is a mage, which I do believe we actually recruited last time, which is the Damsel of Beasts, and I went with Sanctified because, yeah. Anyway, go for replenished troops. Like so, and that'll complete the army. Alright, this will be our artillery army. We'll see. I'm very excited to see how well those Blessed Field Trebuchets do once we have Blessed Machines. Frankly, they're obviously going to be a lot stronger with the superior war machine available to them on that monstrous impact. As in a lot stronger than these, but I still feel like Bretonnia should have access to catapults or mangonels, and the fact that they don't bothers me, so we're going to use some dwarven catapults instead for that particular purpose. Frankly, some crossbows would also feel like they'd work nicely in this army, and maybe I'll give them an army that reinforces with some crossbow stuff, but Adelard also buffs the Knights Errant quite a bit. Right here. And so it feels like it makes sense for them to get this. Although, if we don't dismount these guys normally, we could take out the Knights of the Realm and keep more Bust Field Trebuchet. I don't know, I'll think about it. We could get another Bust Field Trebuchet and another Grudge Thrower and just try to rely on the Knights and Artillery. Buffed up Knights of the Realm, no anti-large, but maybe it'll be enough. We shall see next time. Stay tuned for more, don't forget to leave, blah blah blah. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.